This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
All right, so for wide receivers, as we talked about in the beginning of the episode, we saw Higgins get franchise tagged, so he's off the table, and we saw Mike Evans re-signed with the Buccaneers. So I was really hoping to see Mike Evans on another team. That would have been a lot of fun with the Chiefs or whatnot, but no need to talk about that anymore. Let's talk about Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown, Michael Pittman, Gabe Davis, Curtis Samuel. Let's start with Ridley. Kulz, why don't you kick it off with Calvin Ridley, where you think he's going to go?
Let's just pass this one over to Shane.
I like it.
Let's pass it over. All right. Ridley was up and down last year, but, he still put up over 1,000 yards. I think he had 8 or 9 touchdowns.
He did. Yeah.
He is. I will stand by it. He's an elite route runner. Like you can line him up in any of the wide receiver positions, whether it's a slot or outside. I think he is going to a team that is desperate for offensive weapons, and I've got him going to the Patriots. I think the Patriots are taking one of those quarterbacks in the first-round pick, and they need a guy that can be kind of a somewhat number one. He's kind of a 1A maybe. So he comes to New England, who's already been talking about, wanting to spend money in free agency.
Yeah, that to me seems very probable. Patriots was one of the first names I wrote down when thinking about Calvin Ridley. But I personally went with a different route, and I think it's going to be the Panthers. I think them really wanting to sign T. Higgins, losing out on that race because he's re-signed he got franchise tagged. I think they go after Calvin Ridley, an elite route runner, to try to help Bryce Young kind of take another step in the NFL. So I think Ridley could really help that team. Kulz, what do you think?
I don't know. I really don't know. I guess I'm just gonna go. I thought about both of the Patriots and where does he gonna go? I thought about the Patriots. I also thought about the Panthers. I think I'm gonna go with the Titans. I just think that I just don't think Hopkins is their number one, and they really want that. That's something that they feel like they've been missing. So I don't necessarily know what's Hopkins' situation. Do they have him for next year? He was on a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, I believe he was on a 1-year deal.
I think he was too. So I think Hopkins is gone. He's not a wide receiver one anymore, and they want to bring in a weapon for Levis, so that's going to be Ridley. To be honest, I really like the Patriots and I like the Panthers, but I think he's someone that we're close. I'm just going to go ahead and say that Pittman's going to be a Colt. Evans went back to the Bucks, Higgins back to the Bengals. So Titans are a team that we're hoping to get one of those guys as well. Now you have, Panthers, Patriots, Titans, a group of teams that feel desperate to land one of these guys. And I just I think they're in the mix. So I'm going to put them there.
Sorry, I misspoke. Sorry. He was signed to a 2-year deal. He's got like a $5 million roster bonus coming up here in the next 10 days, so they can make a decision on cutting him. But he did sign a 2-year.
Okay.
I think he'll stay and get the bonus. Let me throw in another name for Calvin Ridley. What would you guys gauge the probability on the Kansas City Chiefs? Because with their situation this past year, we all saw dealing with drops and stuff. MVS is out. They really don't have an answer at wide receiver other than Rashee Rice. And they're clearly going to be drafting one in the draft pretty early. We all know that. But can they go after a free agent? And on the list, there's not many great ones now that Higgins is gone, now that Evans is gone. So I think Calvin Ridley is a possibility for the Chiefs. What do you guys think?
No, I think they're going to go to the draft, and it's going to be Rice and whoever they draft there. I would love to see Xavier Worthy as a it's going to be that'll be my prediction for the draft is Worthy going to the Chiefs. Yeah,
after they saw that 40 time, you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Chiefs are just salivating to take him.
Yeah, that's just that. Yeah, so I have. So I just don't know that they'll go spend free agency money and first round capital on a wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've got so much money they need to spend on
I mean,
defense.
they just showed that they could win a Super Bowl with nothing around
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Very good point there, Cole.
Yeah.
Very good point. They just won a Super Bowl with a terrible wide receiving core.
Worst.
You're absolutely right. Well, what about Hollywood Brown? Hollywood Brown, is he going to stay with the Cardinals? Shane, what do you think is your prediction for Marquise Hollywood Brown?
So I think like I view Hollywood as like a step below Ridley. He's got that high end speed. He can play multiple spots too. He's got explosiveness. So much like you were thinking with Ridley, I was thinking the same thing of going to Carolina because that's a team that needs and is desperate for some weapons. They do not have any down the field or run after the catch guys. You've got Mingo and Thielen and Chark. They need somebody that's got some explosiveness. They've got, I think it's over 35 million in cap space. I think that's where I had him going, was Carolina.
Okay. And now, Coles, I have a feeling you're going to give us a very logical answer right now. Just put your glasses on. Give us what's going to happen with Hollywood logically.
I just sniffed some alcohol.
Okay.
I actually also have the Panthers. And to me, like, that's just like such a Hollywood move too, is like, for whatever reason, I get the impression with him that he doesn't really care about winning. He likes being in the NFL and making money. And I think that just fits well with that Carolina team who's trying too hard to land these free agent, like these just free agent splashes with like what they did with Sanders. And then I think they're going to do the same with Hollywood, and he's going to underwhelm as well.
Okay.
So I don't know. I have him there.
I have a fun one. You guys play a little game with me and imagine this for a second. Hollywood Brown to the Buffalo Bills. They get their number 2 receiver that they've been trying to lock in over the last couple of years. Gabe Davis is out. Insert Hollywood Brown with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid, and James Cook. I think Hollywood Brown would be a great fit as a number 2 and play all over the field for the Buffalo Bills. I think that would be incredibly fun.
Yeah, I don't know how that money works. I don't know if money's real in the NFL, so they could probably figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Emmanuel Sanders was a Bill at one time. Remember that? Kind of is a little bit, to me, better version of that, of what Sanders was there. So that could be interesting. I would love it for the Bills. You know, any Bills additions I'm all for. I just don't want them to overpay for Hollywood, and I just made a take that I don't really think he cares about winning, so I don't know that he's going to take a pay cut. But that's, if he wants to win, that's a great spot for him to ball out and have a huge impact on that team.
All right, let's move on to some lesser names on this list. Let's talk about Gabe Davis, since I was just talking about Buffalo. Gabe Davis. Now, I know I was just talking about Ridley possibly going to the Chiefs, right? If they can't get that done and they want to go to the draft, what about bringing in a guy like Gabe Davis? That would really be a very good deep threat for Patrick Mahomes. Gabe Davis, he had tons of deep ball catches from Josh Allen. Do you guys even think that's a possibility?
Yeah, but like that's because there's Diggs on the other side of the field, and if that doesn't exist, like, yeah, I agree he's a better deep threat than MVS, but maybe, I don't know. I really don't even know what to do with Gabe Davis.
I think he'd be pretty cheap, wouldn't he? He's not going to require too much of a contract. I think they'd be able to sneak that in there to improve their overall wide receiver room.
So our wide receivers is going to be so like top heavy in contracts. Then do we think that the top guys are going to cost, this $30 million number that we're seeing, 26 for Mike Evans, and then these just mid receivers are going to get hit in value? Is that what we're going to see? Maybe I could see that.
I think so.
But I don't know. So I'm interested what Shane has here. I don't have an answer quite yet.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think he's going to cost them money. The guys we've talked about, like I think the only guy that's going to cost a lot of money is going to be Ridley, and I just think that's just because of scarcity. Like he is the only pseudo wide receiver one now left on the market,
and those guys just missed out with everyone going back to their teams.
Yeah,
Pittman, Evans, and so do you agree then, Shane? You think the wide receiver market is going to be very top heavy?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just looking here at Spot Track, and they've got him estimated at a $13 million salary. So, you're
how
looking
much?
at $13 million.
That's a lot. I feel like.
So yeah, so they're kind of basing that off of, we saw Christian Kirk average out at 18 million. Michael Gallup was at 11.5. Oof, what a freaking swing and miss that was.
Yep.
So I think 13, you could see that come around there. I had Gabe Davis, and I could see a team spending 13 million on him, is the New York Giants. So desperate for kind of a big body wide receiver. They were known last year as like slot wide receiver. That's all they were bringing in was slot wide receivers or drafting slot wide receivers. So let's bring in somebody that could be a good complement to grow Jalen Hyatt in this next year, in year 2. That's a team I had him going to.
I'll stay there and I'll go Jets. I think Lazard is just an absolute like, what does he even do without Rodgers kind of thing? And that's a way to upgrade that position, is put in Gabe Davis. Not that they're the same type of receiver, but that's a team who missed out on Rodgers last year and is going to want to make up for it this year. And I could just see the Jets saying like, whatever, we'll throw some money at someone like Gabe Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Jets taking somebody else, Odell Beckham Jr. He's going to go play for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Is he going to even play football? Like, he's dating Kim Kardashian. He'll be like on the Chargers or not even their practice squad. Yeah, I mean, bright lights out in New York. I could see that. I don't want to talk about Odell. I fuck him. I don't like him.
All right. Well, what about Curtis Samuel?
That's who I have. I have him as a Bear. Yeah, I have him as a Bear. I love him as a Bear. I love him with DJ Moore. He's the godfather to DJ Moore's kid. I think he is an awesome wide receiver 3. So I would love him to be a Chicago Bear, which means, Mooney's gone, where that's someone else I think is worth talking about. If you want to throw a dart at where does Darnell Mooney go?
I've erased him from my player memory. So you guys talk about him.
Shane can take him.
All right. So, first of all, Samuel, I had something interesting for Samuel, and see what you guys think if I'm too outside the box again. What about coming in because he's kind of been a team's wide receiver 3, basically, is what he's been.
Yeah.
So what about coming in as the wide receiver 3 with somebody who would actually use him in creative ways, more rushing opportunities that he was getting in Washington? How about Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins?
I would love that.
Coming in there, you really utilizing his talents, which to really maximize a guy like that, like you need to use him in creative ways, I feel.
Yeah, you bring that up makes me think he would be a great fit there, and that's probably one of the better landing spots for him as a player. He probably has a better year on the Dolphins than he would Bears.
Yeah, I love that. Now a situation where I think he could go. I don't think he will, because I think they like what they have there in Tyreek, Waddle, and Wilson, and the other million weapons they have. So, maybe cut Claypool. I just think you're going to add him now to that Wilson mix too. I don't know. That seems pretty crowded. I could see him going somewhere like the Saints thinking that they need to bring someone in to fit that they can just get the ball to a lot in creative ways. That seems to me like it would be a team that he would go to and not do very well because of how much they're going to ask him to do and how bad I think the Saints probably will be with Derek Carr. But that's somewhere I could see them thinking basically acquiring him to play a bigger role than he has, which is certainly something I could see happen.
Yep.
I
think that wraps it up for wide receivers.
Yeah, but you haven't given us a Mooney pick.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
No.
All right.
He is good as done, in my opinion. So anyway,
what about Velus Jones?
Velus Jones. It's Velus Jones season,
well,
baby.
We did talk about Braxton Berrios.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about Tyler Boyd. We didn't talk about Michael
about
Thomas.
where Alex Earl will end up.
Yeah, the Braxton Berrios has got multi-layers to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as a quick roundup, I think Tyler Boyd goes to the Titans. I think Michael Thomas goes to the Broncos, reunites with Sean Payton. Those
I like that.
Would be interesting to me.
like
Titans, a blah team making a blah signing, and Tyler Boyd just blah.
Yeah, I don't have anything for those guys, so
That's fine.